Hello. Welcome to another episode of the playonultra podcast. This is episode 210.
Hey!
Woohoo.
Did it!
210, that's a nice number.
Yes, it is.
It's also what I weigh. Oh, no longer. used to. Lost a little bit of weight. But yeah, it's close to the end of the year.
I know. This year's been weird for me personally.
This
so
year
to be
has been kind of quite weird. Yeah.
So the fact that we're here, it's like, oh, it just feels like there was definitely like a part 1, a part 2 for me this year. Like part 1 was like up until about May-ish, and then June through now, I don't know what happened. Just blink and it came. So.
Yeah,
okay.
I think my part 1 stopped at like somewhere around May too. Yeah.
Yeah. Just crap.
It's just
anyway.
Very not sure how to feel about this year.
Yeah.
I did a thing.
What'd you do?
A couple weeks ago, I got a PlayStation 5.
Whoa, cool.
Dang!
So, because I've been eyeing it, I was thinking of getting it every year. And Sony Malaysia was like, we're doing a sale for 11/11. I'm like, fuck it. It's like $100 off, $100 off. So like,
that's a big chunk.
Yeah,
That's decent.
yeah. So I got the PlayStation 5 like on a Saturday 2 weeks ago, and I finished Spider-Man 2 like a few days ago. So I just
Yeah, that's how it goes.
so like the surprising thing about Spider-Man 2 is it makes you feel like Spider-Man, unlike all the other Spider-Man games that did not make you feel like Spider-Man, I guess. So yeah, this game is really good at making you feel like Spider-Man. End of the review.
Did you play the first one?
I did. I would say the first one I enjoyed more simply because it was like the first AAA major big Spider-Man game after. I don't think we've ever gotten this AAA like we've gotten good games, open world, swinging mechanics and all that. Good games like Web of Shadows, the Spider-Man 2 movie tie-in, which was a really good game, honestly. Which pioneered the swinging mechanics, which is probably one of the best movie licensed games. We didn't really get AAA. We had like Shattered Dimensions, but I'm not sure if that's AAA because it's linear and it's there's nothing to explore. It's a very like linear story based game. I mean, it's cool and all, but like it's not open world swinging in New York kind of,
Sure.
And so this one's cool because you can kind of switch between Miles and Peter anytime you want, more or less, which is really cool. So it has that GTA 5 style mechanic. So that's it's pretty. Yeah, I like that. But I'm not sure if I'm making sense here, but it's a 10 out of 10 game that is not a masterpiece. It feels very safe. Like everything about it is perfect. I can't really. There's like only one complaint I have, which is there's nothing post game. Like you finish the game, and if you finish all the side activities, there's nothing else to do. Like you can swing around, random crimes pop up, but that's it. Like there's nothing you unlock. You don't feel. I don't feel rewarded for like finishing the game and getting like some extra post game stuff, which I feel I don't know. There's literally no point. You just kind of restart the game and play a high difficulty or something.
Collectible type stuff, is it comparable to like an Arkham game?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. And I did all that before the last mission anyway, so when I finished the game, I just had like one more suit to unlock, and you can only unlock it after the game. So that was literally the only post-game thing, but that took like 5-10 minutes. So, I don't know. But I don't know, it just feels... How do I say this? It feels like a shinier game on the surface, like that's it. I don't understand what is next gen about the PlayStation 5. Like this generation is supposed to be the next gen. I'm not sure what's next gen about it. I guess you could say that sort of from the PlayStation 3 console generation to PlayStation 4, everything it was just shinier, maybe? I'm not really sure. But we did, I don't know, but we got like Red Dead 2, which felt like very, because of all the little like random things you can find and all the random like details, it made it feel like the game feels next gen sort of. But this one just feels like very safe. It's shiny. And I'm just like, okay, I don't really understand what is next gen about it. It just feels like we kind of have to just increase processing power because things are shinier. That's it. Like, I don't see much innovation, I guess.
Right. That's the word, I think.
Yeah. I'm not even sure if we can get more innovation other than having different methods of input via peripherals or something, like VR or something, to make it feel, like different. But, I mean, it's still a good game.
Yeah, because graphic fidelity is only going to go so far at this point.
Yeah. And that's... okay. That's weird. My OBS just crashed. Okay.
No. Oh, fun. We're good?
No, we're good. It came back. I'm not.
Oh.
So we froze for like 5 seconds, our faces. But it's fine.
We don't know what's happening.
Fucking OBS. Jesus. Okay. Yeah, the controller's fun, kind of. Like, it has that cute little vibrating, like, there's that game that comes with the PlayStation 5, the Astro Playroom, which is kind of cute. So, that one is mostly to showcase, like, what the console can do and mostly what the controller can do. And, like, if it can vibrate in a way that it feels like you're holding something with things inside, which is kind of, I'm like,
the Joy-Con sort of Switch had the similar thing.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm not really sure how many games it's going to use that, though. But, so,
yeah.
Especially when it's, like, tied to a specific console. And a lot of games want to be multi-platform. So I guess just the Sony studios would use it, I guess. I think it's really cool that the triggers can... What's the word? Harden? Like can like resist your input.
Add more resistance.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on the action and like a weapon or whatever that you're using. That's kind of cool, I feel like.
Yeah, I do like this controller. I haven't done much PS5 playing, so I don't know about long term, but the PS4 controller, something about it like felt so delicate to me. I don't know how to explain
I get
it.
This one's heavier.
This one's heavier. This one's a little heftier. It feels like it's
rugged.
going to less shatter if I drop it. Yeah, so that's one thing I like about it, just the feel and the weight of it more.
Expensive, Jesus.
I know. Oh my word!
And
it's
honestly,
ridiculous.
I've always preferred the PlayStation layout of having the analog sticks close together rather than one like the Xbox style where it's like away, far away. So, and I've always found that the PlayStation controllers is like perfect for my hands. Because my hands is not too big, but it's also not that small. So, and this one is it just feels like a higher quality. But the only thing that's annoying me, which is the same problem from the PlayStation 4 controller, low battery life. Like, it's just a shitty, like, I have to charge it every day if I have like an entire gaming like day. Yeah.
Oh,
unlike
yeah,
a
for
Pro
sure.
controller where I can just charge it every other, it's just not.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, our PS5 controller is plugged every night because there's just no way. There's no way.
I think it's something like
definitely true.
5 to 8 hours depending on the game. I guess I'm not really sure.
Wow.
Also, another really fucking stupid thing. Somebody wanted to test like this really expensive Sony wireless headset, one of those like expensive ones, and it's connected by a Bluetooth or a wire. But we were like, let's try Bluetooth. Sony is Sony, right? It cannot detect it. It doesn't support the Sony PlayStation 5 does not support their expensive Sony headset because they want you to buy that Pulse 3D feel like Spider-Man headset or whatever fuck. That's like PlayStation branded.
So annoying.
Fuck you. What the fuck? Holy that is so stupid.
Yeah, that's not good.
That is stupid. Pretty sure they're the same company. Last time I checked.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it would not be that hard to make it.
I
just
think
work,
it's literally I think it's literally a switch. It's just like
yeah, for sure.
there's probably somewhere in the code with the word no. They just have to delete it. I think it's literally just
Exactly.
that. So
Yeah.
Sony, fuck you. Like it just
Yeah.
yeah. But they already have my money. So I also bought a Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart because of course Ratchet and Clank.
Of course.
That was I'm having fun with it. I'm playing it right now after Spider-Man. I was expecting something different in the gameplay when it comes to having the two characters because there's like Ratchet and the female Longback's Ribbit, but they play exactly the same, pretty much. They're just like doing two separate stories, like parallel. So I was kind of expecting something different, I guess. But yeah, but that was fun so far. Everything is really shiny, very almost too shiny. I feel like it kind of I kind of have trouble sometimes seeing, like focusing on things that I should be able to focus on because there's just like everything is just too. But yeah, not really sure what else I'm gonna play. I mostly got it for the exclusives.
Yeah.
And maybe some games that my PC can't handle. Maybe for now until I upgrade my PC, but. I might get Returnal, that roguelike game. That's like one of the launch games. I think that one's also on PC. I think it's by Housemark. So I kind of spoiled it by watching a retrospective on it. But honestly, it sounds pretty interesting. Like the story for a roguelike is actually quite interesting. And like challenging gameplay. Apparently, it's not easy. I'm not sure if it's like Souls, like hard Souls, but it's like not the easiest game. But it looks cool. Other than that, oh my god! So you remember, like I told y'all I was giving Cyberpunk 2077 another chance, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I was enjoying the gameplay. Gameplay was good. It's actually fun. I don't know, the game, like the sound design of the game, there's a lot of good things about the game. I have to give them that.
I have a friend playing through it right now, not for the first time, and he's really enjoying doing a gunless build.
So like like a hacker, right? Yeah.
Hacker, also it's like katana stuff.
Nice. So yeah, I mostly play it I mostly kill most of my enemies using hacking, which is really just fun. Like, you just I uninstalled it before finishing it. Y'all know why?
I don't.
Why?
There's a bug.
I saw your post about
there's
it.
a bug in the last mission.
Great.
That's so
Literally
bad.
same spot. It keeps crashing, and I cannot finish the game. I cannot. I spent 70+ hours on this run, not including the 20 hours that I spent hating it in the first time playing it. Just let me finish the game. I just want to finish the game. I spent 70 hours already on it. My character's like max level and everything. It's just and I've tried like a couple of the like fixes and stuff, but it just didn't work. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't wanna. It's just. Oh my god! I don't. Fucking hell.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, I saw your post about that, and I
I'm not-
warned my wife because she's streaming it right now.
And
I'm
not-
curious to see
I'm
if
not
she's
sure
the same
what.
issue.
And the thing is, I would say a lot of people have been able to finish the game, even before all these patches, but a lot of people also can't. It's really your luck, your mileage may vary type of thing. So
there's something wrong, but no one knows exactly what it is, from what I understand.
yeah, so it just keeps crashing. Holy shit! It's not even like a visual bug, which I'm okay to power through. Like it's literal crashing. I can't even.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! And you all know how much I love The Witcher, and I'm pretty sure they're working on like a new Witcher game. I'm not sure if it's a remake or a Witcher 4. I think both. I'm not sure how I feel about giving them my money anymore.
I get it, yeah.
I might still do it, but on like a deep sale. like at least 50% type of thing, and buying it on
get it.
Steam because I want Valve to take 30% of the fucking money. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, exactly. I'll put my money more in the money vault for Steam.
Yeah, because this Cyberpunk one, I technically bought a physical version because I was so excited for it.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
I pre-ordered a physical version that came
Yeah.
with a GOG key. So
Yeah, I remember.
also the GOG Galaxy is not the best. It's not very optimal when it comes to like downloading and updating your game. It's quite slow at it. So Steam is still better at the thing that they do, I guess.
Yeah, Steam's just chugging along. It's still there. It's still good. Yeah, no, it's so funny. I was going to pre-order Cyberpunk 2077. I was super geeked for this game, and basically by pure laziness, I didn't.
Your
I just
laziness saved you
forgot.
money. Honestly.
My laziness literally saved me money, and I did buy it like day 4, but I heard all the issues, and so I gave it a shot, but I was already kind of pissed off that like my first major choice of the kind of character I was like did not matter after like an hour of gameplay, or like after like 20 minutes of gameplay. And I was just annoyed by that, and I heard all the issues, and I was like, I'm not gonna play this game for a while. And so I managed to get it under the 2-hour limit for Steam, and I refunded it. I was like, I'll get this later if it gets good. I'm gonna spend this money on something else. I forget what I bought, but it was pretty funny. But yeah, my laziness saved me from getting like, you know, the major like deluxe version of it. So, oops. But also
one thing I
Yay.
forgot to mention about the PlayStation 5 that I do not like, and it's literally a backwards move from the PlayStation 4. So you can have like multiple user profiles, right? And with certain, and you are able to sign up for different countries' PlayStation stores, right? And I do that because I can't just have the Malaysian store because sometimes prices things, but also like certain games just not available on the PlayStation Malaysian store, like the classics, like the PlayStation 2 classics that they redid for the PlayStation 4. So I have like a European account, American account, and Malaysian account. My Malaysian one is still my main one that I play on for the trophies and everything. But sometimes I buy games on the American account. So on the PlayStation 4, if you buy any game on any country store, any of the profiles, as long as it's on that machine, any other profile can play the game that any other profile bought, right?
Cool. Sure.
You can't do that on the PlayStation 5. You have to play the game on the profile that you bought it from. It's a small thing, and it's not going to affect most people, but it's just a backwards move. I don't get it.
Is that only because the different country? Because I thought you could.
So
do
it's
cross...
not a region lock.
It's not.
I don't think it's a region lock. Wait, hold up.
Interesting.
Actually, I think it is. Because I noticed this happening with also DLCs. So, I bought a game, a Hogwarts Legacy. I bought it used. So my money is not going to like transphobic shit. that first guy's money is going to transphobic shit. So my money is safe. My money is like halal. So I bought Hogwarts Legacy. It's a European version, and it came with like a code for like extra DLC content, right? So you can't what's the word, claim this content on the Malaysia. You have to go which I have, so it's fine. So I went to a European store. I claimed it there. On the PlayStation 4, when you do this, you are able to play that DLC on any of the user profiles still. The only thing is you have to buy from the store that the game is from. So if you buy a European game, you have to buy the DLC from the European store or claim the code from the European store. That's all you have to do. But you can play the content on any user profile from any country. You can't do it on the PlayStation 5. It's... Why? They don't region lock their game, so like this is just an extra step for no reason. Like
Yeah, it's strange.
I'm not sure if they patched it to also work like that on PlayStation 4. like, I haven't played my PlayStation 4 in a while, so I'm not sure if it was patched to have this too for some like legality reason or something. I'm not sure, but
that's the only thing I can think of is just the weird crackdowns from regions, but I have no idea.
And and the reason why I have so many, and another reason why I have so many different like country store accounts is because I didn't want to lock myself to a specific, like if I want to buy a physical game and it's the American version and I want to buy DLC, at least I can still do it, you know?
Right.
Because I'm not really sure why, but the distribution in maybe Southeast Asia or just here, they a lot of stores tend to sometimes sell non-Asian versions too, like American versions, European versions. So I just didn't want to like lock myself out, you know?
Right. That makes sense.
And
I don't know.
it's just annoying. I would say mostly positive, but it's just like small things like this. That's just like a
headache.
Technically, I still can access the content. It's just I have to play it on the different user profile. But then, for very stupid reason, I would then like not have my trophies on just the one account, which I know is stupid. But my Malaysian account has all the trophies and all the play history, and there's just something about going through your trophies and like, oh shit, I remember playing this like 25 years ago when I was like a little baby, you know? Like, it's just...
You'd like some harmony. It's just, with all the different...
It's the same thing as people who advocate only wanting to buy from Steam versus Epic Games and every other store.
Right.
I feel like it's the same thing. Not exactly the same, but like kind of similar.
It's different, but the need for you with it is similar. It's just because it's region
just
blocking stuff. Which region locking already is such a it's such a complicated thing for me because I'm like, I guess some countries, should be allowed to have different laws about this, but like at the same time, it just feels so silly.
Some countries they don't want to. I mean, I get it. I get the region thing, but most games tend to have most consoles tend to have no region thing anymore. It's just that these small little, like, that it just doesn't make sense, honestly. And, and because of PlayStation 5, I know I could do this on the PlayStation 4 too, because it's also Blu-ray, but I actually own my first Blu-ray disc now. I bought the 35th anniversary version of the Transformers 1986 movie, like 4K, whatever. Oh my god, it's so pretty, and comes with a steel case and all that. And the good thing is for Blu-ray regions, Malaysia, Southeast Asia, and the US is the same region. So I bought it from Amazon US because you can't find it here. So yeah, that's so I have that option. I can get it from Amazon US, but I don't know. Such a big console. It's way too big. It's so big. I did contemplate of waiting for the Slim, but that $100 discount was like too much. I was like, nah.
I understand.
But yeah, that's my PlayStation 5 thing, I guess. Not being able to finish Cyberpunk 2077. I did watch Castlevania Nocturne.
I've heard some not great things about it.
It's not good.
Okay.
I hate it.
We'll probably pass then, because we were really excited for it, and then we heard from some trusted opinions of other. I first heard people kind of going, but some friends that we trust their, opinions on were like, ugh.
It's like a low budget, like.
That's what I heard. Yeah,
it feels really low budget. Like from the animations, the way they move, the voice acting, the story is just like the writing.
Yeah. I heard the writing is not that good. And it
cannot
just
find a single. The music is good, but like that's it. I mean, the music is really good because they remaster, reharmonize, reorchestrate whatever the classic Castlevania songs, right? So that was really good. Right. Everything else is so bad. I just powered through it, turned it on in the background, did something else. I was like, oh, this is a cool scene. But that's it. Like 8 out of 8 episodes, I said that probably twice, maybe, at most. And there was this very cringy singing because this guy, he's like an opera singer. I don't think he was a very good opera singer. Especially coming from like the first one, which was to me a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah.
This one is just like, and just to be fair, the guy Eddie Shankar who did the first one is not really involved in this one. He's the executive producer, but he wasn't the one that was pushing to have this done. He's moving on towards like other things. I can't remember what's like. Oh, he's doing Devil May Cry for Netflix. He's
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
So that one should be good because Adi Shankar, he's pretty, yeah. Anything
Fingers
with him
crossed.
being like the showrunner, I trust.
Yeah.
But this, don't watch it. Don't fucking waste your time.
Okay.
The only
Yeah.
cool scene is
I'll
like
rewatch the first one.
last episode, right at the end, a character makes an appearance for season 2, and then in like episode 7, I think there was a ambush, and then the good guys managed to beat the ambush. That was a cool scene. Out of the whole season, these 2 scenes were the only things I like. So go look it up on like YouTube or something. Don't fucking waste your time.
Fair enough. That's such a shame. That's such a shame because like I didn't really play much Castlevania growing up, but I really liked this show. Like I really
so
felt I could get it, and I mean obviously I didn't fully get the references and stuff like that, but you really didn't need,
Yeah, you didn't need to.
And a quick Wikipedia search told you all you really needed to know. Like if you really needed to like understand. Like I didn't really quite understand Sypha's like thing, and that that was whatever. But like the characters were great, the writing was great. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was a thing
too
that
bad.
Was good for both Castlevania fans and non-fans. Like it's just a
Yeah,
really good
they
show.
did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really didn't need
This
that.
one I don't even. I would recommend it to Castlevania fans. Like it's not.
That's too bad.
And they're using like a pretty well-known, well-loved character too. So
Yeah. That's what I've heard.
yeah,
Well, because I remember the teasers first came out, people were going nuts.
yeah. I was excited, and I watched
Yeah.
the first episode. I was like, wait a minute, the quality is kind of weird. Let me give it like a couple more episodes. Like, nah, this is shit. That's just. Avatar live action is coming out soon. That one looks pretty.
It is.
That one looks pretty good.
It does.
Better
It
be
looks
fucking
pretty
good.
stunning.
Yeah, better
I
be fucking
know.
good.
Crossing my fingers. There's been, unfortunately, not unfortunately, it is what it is. I've been inundated. There's been so much like bullshit drama over the casting.
I thought people liked the
Oh.
casting because it's not
So it's
white
one of those
suburban kids
things.
playing Inuit people, right?
It's one of those things where like,
The bar was
I don't know how to explain this, and I'm a little too white to say this, but
Can I guess?
Go ahead.
They don't look Asian enough?
No, it's not that.
I thought it was like something that they look too white passing or something.
So one issue is apparently rumor has it that Sokka's actor basically lied about his heritage. So there was that bullshit that he like got some signature that seemed to be fake. I don't know the full story, but that was like one thing. The main thing I'm hearing people complain about, and it's one of those things where I'm like, yes, like basically a lot of people have been complaining about that the casting is not specific enough to the culture that it should be. So, for instance, some of the people cast for the Water Tribe people are not all Inuit, which is one thing. But also, it's kind of there's a lot of like so the Fire Nation is pretty predominantly Japanese, right? And a lot of the actors there are not predominantly Japanese. There's a lot of Chinese.
Hasn't it always been that way? American production has always casted whatever Asian characters with whatever type of Asians. To them,
Yes.
as long as you're East Asian, you don't even have to be fully East
Yeah.
Asian. You can just be a quarter East Asian, look very fucking white,
Yeah.
but your name has
It's-
Yuriko in it. And I was like, oh, you
Right.
you should play our Chinese character. Like, this is how
Right.
it has always been like this.
It's
Why is people
one of those weird.
pissed off now?
I know. It's one of those weird things where, like, yes, I agree that we should do the best we should. And I that's why I'm saying, like, I'm too white to say this. I'm like, at what point are we splitting hairs, and maybe I'm too white to be able to say what that point is, but that's just the drama I've been seeing a lot. At this point, I'm just gonna say, let's see. Like I said, the only one that made me go, oh, that's too bad, is apparently Sokka's actor, like, apparently lied about his true heritage, which, like, that sucks. So we'll see. But anyway, I saw the preview. It looks stunning. I don't know how to feel about Appa and Momo. Yeah, it was a trailer. I don't know how I feel about Appa and Momo, but then again, I feel like since the 2020s, there's just been a bit of a downgrade with CGI anyway. So like, I think it'll look better in the actual show. I think it's a little uncanny valley, but the scenery is stunning. Visually, everything about it looks stunning. I think the trailer just has whoever's playing Iroh, but I could be wrong. I'm not actually sure who's speaking in the trailer because they don't make it obvious. But so I haven't really heard any of the main characters. They don't really give you any of their lines in the show. But I think to me, what was the most shocking, and this is not against the show at all. This is exactly what it needs to be. It's just been a long time since I've seen this show. I was like, fuck, these actors look young. But of course they're supposed to be. Like, Aang looks like a baby, but he's supposed to be 11 years old.
They're
so yeah, you know. They are. Yeah. And again, totally fine with that, but it is very jarring to be like, oh yeah, this is a very serious show with very young characters.
At least they're not casting like 20-year-olds passing off as teenagers in high school. No. Right? Okay.
No. They're all child actors. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I will say that was the only part that made me go, oh yeah, that's right. Aang is a kid. Aang is like a little kid.
So dark and mature at times. We tend to forget that these kids are kids.
Yes. Yeah. Well, because this was the age demographic. It was a Y. Yeah. In America, we would call it Y7, meaning like young, but for 7 and up, basically.
Right.
That was the age demographic. It was for like your 7 to 12-year-olds. Yeah. Exactly.
It was just a really good kids show that resonated with a lot of people that were not kids. So. Yeah, exactly.
So I'll be curious to see kind of how some of those themes play. But yeah, it looks stunning. We'll see. That's just some of the drama I've heard. But like I said, the only reason I'm just very hesitant with this show, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, maybe it doesn't really matter. The original creators left the show. The original creators of the animated TV show left the Netflix production for disagreements. What does that mean?
So they were originally part of it.
Oh. Yeah, long time ago. Yeah, this was a while ago. Because this show's been in production for a long time. That's I think like pre-COVID. So that's the only thing. Like, and they left kind of early on. So it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, well, we'll see. Like, just because they created the show doesn't necessarily mean that they were the end-all be-all either. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what those creative differences were.
There's two ways you can look at it. The first way is probably what a lot of people are thinking. They're not there to keep it authentic in a way to the original show. But then also you have to ask, do you really want that? This should be an adaptation. And It's not like is it supposed to be a shot for shot? Or is it an adaptation?
I've never heard that it's supposed to be. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know. They're the one thing I will say is like that let me put it this way. You know how Game of Thrones like had to combine a lot of characters from the book because there's just too many characters. So like certain characters you would find in the book won't be in the show, for instance.
Right.
And certain roles kind of combine. This show, they're casting a lot of people. Like, the cast list for some of these minor character roles, they're filled. So, I don't know if they necessarily going to do shot for shot, but they're trying to stay somewhat faithful, it sounds like. Like I said, I haven't really heard too much about, like, extra side characters or people who were not in the show and stuff like that. And they're trying to follow the same beats. I mean, Sokka's first girlfriend's been cast. But they're gonna do that part.
I don't really see the issue, honestly. If it's If it's good, it's good. Like,
yeah. I hope it's good.
I hope it's faithful, but I also don't mind certain changes. Like, it's just
Same, yeah. I wouldn't mind, I think like some of the moves that they're gonna do, like the action moves, are gonna look a little different, just as long as it's not as bad as M. Night Shyamalan. I don't mind that. Oh God, they're so painful. And I don't mind if I don't mind if they change some things, and maybe some things will just make more sense. Maybe it'll just be more. I haven't seen the show in a while, but I think it ages well. But maybe there's just some things they can change to make it age even better. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of potential here. So I will wait with bated breath.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be confirmed 100% amazing.
Yeah,
but
so
far,
we'll
what
see.
I'm seeing, I'm kind of excited for it.
I'm
When
gonna
is it
watch
coming
it
out, like,
unless I
next
hear
year?
it's
Early next year?
February.
February.
No, February. Yeah, so early next year. Yeah, February though. It's approaching.
Did y'all see that stop motion Pokemon Netflix series that's gonna be a thing?
No, I did not. What?
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it looks quite cute. It follows like this. It follows a female character that works at like a Pokemon resort spa looking thing. I'm not really sure. I wasn't really paying attention to like the narrator. I was just looking at the really cute things that was going on. But yeah, there's gonna be a stop motion Pokemon Netflix series that just came out of nowhere.
That's crazy.
What did y'all do?
Haven't really done too much. I'm trying to play a little bit of Baldur's Gate 3 and take a break. Been watching more of the I'm in love with the villainous, which is still great.
Is that anime?
Did I talk about? Yeah. Did I talk about I'm in love with the villainous? Did I talk last time?
I feel like
about
no.
It?
Sounds.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I did. I'm so sorry. So I'm in love with the villainous is it's an anime that was originally, I think, a webtoon actually. It's a typical otome isekai. Oh, you know what? I think I talked about it after the show. I think that's why I'm struggling to remember. Anyway, it's a typical like otome isekai. So middle-aged woman was playing this otome game and gets sucked into it for some reason. But for her, she gets sucked into it as the main character. And she, as a real life person, just whenever she played the game, she never really cared for the boys in their route. She liked the villainous female character, the one that's supposed to be all evil and going against you and trying to steal the guys away from you. And so it's an anime of like, this kind of isekai of it, but it's pretty darn funny. And the person who voices the main character needs a freaking award. She's so funny. And part of the joke behind it is that the original like human, was like a huge fan of this game and like wrote fan fiction, was like part of the fan club. And so she knows like all this ridiculous lore that's helping her as she's having to experience all of this.
Is she
but it's
experiencing
fun.
the story that she has read, or is this like kind of after the manga ends? Like how's she fit into it?
So it was originally a visual novel game.
I see.
And she gets sucked into it as the main character, the main heroine. But it's already playing differently. So she mentions for instance, she'll mention like certain events that are happening, and she'll be like, and she'll kind of, break the fourth wall and be like, so, in the game during these events, one of the boys that you're nice to will come to your rescue in some way. But this time it's the villainess who's coming to her rescue. So she's like unlocking another route while she's, stuck in this world game.
Cool.
It also is one of the first anime I've watched that has an actual scene talking about LGBTQ themes, which is bizarre. Was not expecting that. And they even kind of talk about how a lot of people treat like gay people as creeps, and that's not really fair and stuff like that. So that was fascinating. They even talked about it was so crazy. One character kind of mentioned like, maybe gender doesn't matter with love, and another character going, well, sometimes it does. Some people do have preferences or want to be seen a certain way, and it's just like, whoa, this is way more complicated for a Japanese anime than I ever expected to see. So that was kind of cool. But it's fun. It's pretty funny. Like I said, the main female character is hilarious. So and the animation's pretty good. It's pretty cute. So also, my favorite part is one of the guys. he's like he's the like somber, silver-haired, like broody guy. And even though these are all supposed to be like high school age kids, the person who voice acts them, I guess he was just directed to do like this deep voice. And so he sounds like this super deep adult man voice. And it doesn't fit, but it's great. And I love it. It's so funny. It's a pretty wacky one. So I recommend it. It's still coming out right now. So I've been watching that. We did, not in theaters, but we did watch the Five Nights at Freddy's movie at home one night. So I will say, if you're a fan of the series, like if you have any like, oh, this is fun, it's a good movie, actually. I'd watch it if you can. If you don't really care or don't know anything, don't even bother. It's definitely a fun movie for fans, but unlike Castlevania, I would not say it's fun for anybody else. They did a pretty good job. The animatronics look really freaking good. They're real physical props.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, they're real. And so they do an excellent job with them. They have a couple of creepy scenes. But it's also, I will it's the plot. They did something interesting with the plot if you care about anything with the lore of the series. Also, what's his name? I think he played Shaggy.
Yes.
Lillard?
Matthew Lillard. Thank you.
Matthew Lillard is in this movie, and he hams it the fuck up. It's A+. Pretty great. Definitely that was definitely fun. And yeah, the guy the guy who plays Peeta from Hunger Games is the main actor. It's pretty great.
Did y'all watch the
yes.
Nicolas Cage one?
I did see that one.
That was pretty good.
No. Is it pretty good?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Because Nicolas
It's
Cage...
weirder, but I like it.
Nicolas Cage doesn't say anything and just destroys the animatronics in very violent ways.
They
and
literally
it's really
have
fun.
the line like, "He's not trapped in there with them; they're trapped in there with him." Like
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. But yeah, like I said, if you don't because my wife and I enjoy learning about the lore and stuff like that, because it's so ridiculous. These game series make no fucking sense, but it's just fun. It's so if you have spent any time doing that, this movie's actually going to be pretty darn fun. If not, I wouldn't bother. It's not really made for general audiences, I would say. They tried. They really did. You don't need to know anything about the lore to watch this movie. You really don't. They explain things pretty handedly. I just don't think you will find it very entertaining. I think you'll just be like, well, that was weird. What? Why did you say I always come back? What the hell? So, anyway, it's fun. Trying to think if I did anything else interesting. We're starting another Dungeons and Dragons campaign, so that's fun.
a new one or an additional one?
So my wife had finished one, and so she's starting a new one.
Cool.
She was running one on Wednesdays for us on stream. Had finished that, has been working on the next one of the same homebrew world, and that was started. So,
Got it.
yeah.
Oh, and
I have a question. This is not a nerd test. This is more of just a. I'm working on nothing for an improv thing, and I don't know how deep a pull I'm making. If I mention the spell Goodberry, do you recognize that's a spell? Do you know what that does? How familiar do you are you with Goodberry?
Yeah, absolutely. I know. Yeah. Yep.
I've gotten very mixed responses to it.
Oh, really? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not Magic Missile. Everybody knows what Magic Missile
Sure.
is. But if I guess, I play Druids a lot, so, of course
yeah,
I know
that's
it,
true.
so that's...
But that
it's
makes sense why
nothing
you... So that second question, I guess, not related at all to what I'm working on. Do you ever use Goodberry? I've never prepared Goodberry. Yeah,
No,
nobody
I
uses
never
it. Okay,
used
yeah.
it. Absolutely not.
I've never been in a campaign crunch enough we cared about our caloric intake.
So this is a spell
absolutely
that
not.
even some D&D players don't know about?
Yeah,
I don't know.
most people would recognize it. That's a spell, right? But
Oh. Is it
Yeah,
because there's
I
just
feel-
too much stuff?
I think
Kind of.
it's
It's
just a
just a very
combination. Yeah, I
niche
think it's
spell.
just a combination of the spell is only available to one class, And even
I
that
think
class, as
Rangers
we're
can
joking
technically
about.
get it too.
Oh, yeah, they can. You're right, too.
At least
I
in
forget
fifth.
about that.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Doesn't
the
matter.
problem is that there are actually two classes I adore, but a lot of people
They're
don't
probably
play.
the two least popular. I guess Rangers are popular. Rangers, no one likes Rangers. I mean, I like Rangers.
No one likes
but
Rangers. I
Yeah.
love Rangers, actually, but nobody else does, and that's okay. And a lot of people do play Druids, but not a ton. So yeah, it's a spell that's only used with like very few classes, and even then, like I think you would have had
competing with
you
other
need to be
spells.
pretty familiar with D&D, I would say, but like not
Yeah,
that
yeah.
familiar, but like. You probably have had to have played in a campaign where at least somebody like talked about it or had it. Otherwise, you probably could miss it pretty easily. So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
but it is kind of a classic spell.
Okay,
the
because I like the idea of just like offering people good berries, like good berry.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, I think that makes sense for sure. You know,
We were also-
I think it makes sense. Go ahead.
with one of my friends, because what Goodberry does is it generates 10 berries, and you can spend a whole action, which is 6 seconds, eating a single berry to get 1 HP, but it also counts as like enough food for a day. And so like we ended up looking up like the difference between like the botanical definition of a berry versus the like culinary definition of a berry. Like a culinary berry is what you think of, like strawberry, raspberry, blackberry. None of those are botanically berries,
Right,
technically
right.
speaking. Like a banana is a berry, a pumpkin is a berry from a botanical perspective. So like what is a good berry? Is it like a tiny watermelon? Because like it takes 6 seconds to eat it. Like you can't eat more than one at a time. Like what is it?
Yeah,
If it's a large banana, I don't know.
It
one of those
does sound like
spells
quite a
that's
deep cut,
kinda
though.
stupid.
It almost feels like.
Yeah. I don't think. I mean, I
It's not
don't know.
bad. I don't know.
People don't need to know what it is. It's just funny if I'm just offering people, even if I'm offering people berries. That's funny enough on its own. I
I
think.
really don't think it's that much of a deep cut. I really don't think it is.
Okay,
Like when
okay.
I think of a deep cut with D&D, I think of the lore. Like I think of you mentioning like, oh yeah, you know, this historical event in Faerun or something. Like that's what I think of a deep cut. This is a spell. So like
I don't know any of the lore. The only word I know some of the deities. I know.
Yep.
Baldur's Gate. I know the Sword Coast. That's it. End of list of things
Thanks
I
for
know.
Baldur's Gate game. No, Baldur's Gate takes place in Faerun, and Baldur's Gate is just a
Okay.
location in Faerun. Yeah, like, well, because, God, yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm the same way.
Is it
I've been
because
playing
there's-
for many years.
Honestly, there really hasn't been for how I want to say popular, but I'm not even sure if that's the word to use with D&D. Honestly, because for how old it is, for how long it's been running as a thing, it hasn't really gotten that much like media, right?
Well, yeah, there's not like it's hard to be like, oh, you want to know the lore? Read this book. Like this is the canon. Like there's not like
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to read the
single
similarian
narrative
almost,
thing.
or whatever it's called.
It's or just a bunch of rule books like or adventure
Yeah.
modules that like refer to like it's more like reading the like the almanac.
Yeah, that's actually probably a better way to put it. Or like an encyclopedia. Like that's more where you kind of get that from. There probably have been like books as far as like fiction books, but there's games, right? Baldur's Gate made a couple games
But
set
if,
in those
like, if you
locations
really
and
want
stuff
things
like
to
that.
be known,
Yeah.
movies and like games probably
Yeah.
now are like the things
Yep.
that you know.
And they're just because, and I think also what doesn't help too is that most people when they're playing D&D are going to do some form of what we call a homebrew, meaning
Right.
that the dungeon master made up a world of his own kind of thing. So
And it's
like
sort of the point,
you're
almost.
Yeah. Or, what's happened too is people who came in from Critical Role, which was a homebrew world by Matt Mercer,
think
people
that's
are like,
canon.
I want to play that. And they said, okay, sure. So they published a book, on some
Yep,
stuff.
It is kind of
It's-
canon now. Yeah.
It is. Yep. Oh,
Is it,
yeah.
is it like official
So-
canon? Like,
You can
Well-
it's a module you can pay money for in D&D Beyond. I mean,
Yes.
it's also it is a
D&D
physical
Beyond
like
is
Wizards of the
the-
Coast book.
is the
D&D
website
the
Beyond's
run,
online-
run by
web
Hasbro, right?
portal for
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that the one with the
Yeah, yeah.
subscription thing?
Yes, exactly.
Did they do that or did they just talk about doing that?
The subscription, there is a subscription, but I
Oh,
don't think
right.
it's as bad as like it's still not great. You do have to like buy the books individually, digital copies, and then if you lose your
Yeah.
subscription, I think you lose the books, but they're there. Yeah, so like cuz you have to understand too that location imagine, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. So when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons, there's different what's called planes, planes, planes of existence. Think of it as like different. Think of it like Marvel universes.
Right. Like different dimensions.
Same character, same whatever, just a different location with a different timeline and different shit happened. Like that's kind of what playing D&D is like. Some places have unique things, unique races, for instance, or unique things to them. But overall, you might pick your plane of existence, your location, and then you figure out what you're going to play after that. But they're all kind of similar, like, similar things, but just like different themes and stuff like that, if that makes sense. So the Critical Role homebrew world, Exandria is a plane of existence, while Faerun, which is where Baldur's Gate takes from in the movie, took place in, is a different plane of existence. But they got the same races, the same classes, just different history, different bad guys, that kind of thing. So, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, no, I don't think Goodberry's that deep of a cut. I think that'd be, if a lot of people went, what? Be like, it's a spell. It's almost kind of a joke. It's like, look up Druid. Druid level 1, baby. One of the first spells you can take.
Because it's an improv D&D show, and so I made a character sheet for like the character I'm thinking of doing, just to get familiar with Druid spells, because I'm not that familiar with Druid spells or
then yeah.
subclasses. But nobody else on my team knew what I was talking about. I was like,
what? Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry. I think that's really weird. I think that's weird. I'm not saying everyone should like know exactly what it does, but like Goodberry, that's been around since 3E. It's probably 1E. Yeah. Whatever. I'm sorry. I get it. I thought it was funny, but I like Druid.
Other people have gotten it. Yeah. I mean, some of the people on my team I don't expect to get, because like it's not. They're not all D&D players. They're just good improvisers who know how to do fantasy. But some of the people I expected to get it, and they didn't.
Fair enough. Okay.
Because I thought they were all into D&D. Then I would think that was weird too, actually, if you're going to be writing something like this.
I mean, I've been on like a Star Wars, improvised like space fantasy team, and a person on the team had never seen Star Wars.
I mean, I think it's fun when you've got a mix.
It is.
Like, you have some people who really know what it is, some people who only have like a semi-knowledge, and some who have no idea. Like, I think that makes things a lot funnier. But yeah, it's kind of, but it's hard if like you're the only one, for instance.
You should put it in. That's my vote. Put it in.
Yeah, I think you should do it. I think it's great. I think it's great because it's a bad spell.
right. I guess for more context, my character is a gentleman druid. So they don't do anything dirty, and like a druid, they can only turn into animals they've seen, which is purebred dogs, show ponies. At level 8, maybe they can turn into a swan or a peacock because they can fly. Like...
That's really funny. I love that a lot.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be fun.
That's fun. I mean, there's a couple of subclasses you could pretend you are. If you really needed to get down to it, I could probably help you out with that. But like, it really doesn't matter.
I kind of want to do like a homebrew, because like I think I'm just gonna do like Druid of the Land, and then pick like I picked like forest or something. But it would be really funny to do like manicured field, just like something very like, lawn.
For sure, farmland, like yeah, for sure.
But Dream's just a fun one too. But I don't think my character's not that fey. But that's like my favorite, like abstract. Dream's my favorite druid subclass.
I love Stars, Circle of the Stars. I played a Circle of Stars character, and it was pretty great.
I wanted to try out Spore, but that's definitely like the opposite of what my guy's going for. That's like the dirtiest.
Oh yeah,
druid.
I know. Yeah, but no, Spores are pretty fun. I've never played one, but the people I know who've played it, they love it.
In Baldur's Gate in Act 1, did you at the however you pronounce it, colony? Did you get Sovereign Gut, whatever his name is? He's like a shorter, wider mushroom guy, and he's like, I need you to kill the Durgar. And you're like, well, I've already done it, probably. And he's like, yes, show me. And so then he can join you and follow you. Did you do this at all?
Oh no, I think I may have had evidence already or something, because I don't think he followed me.
Well, he followed me, and then I went and fought all the hook horrors, and he has a spell where he uses spores to animate corpses, and so he's able to like animate a hook horror to fight for me for like a long while, which is really cool. But then of course he's a jerk. He's like, good job killing those Durgar. I think I should be the sovereign now. You should go back and kill the other sovereign. And
Oh,
it's
I
like,
didn't
I'm
get
not
that
going to do
far.
that, guy. And so I had to kill him.
Oh man, yeah, I didn't get that far with that one, but maybe I missed something. Yeah, no,
I mean,
no, thank
yeah,
you.
Yeah.
That's
But
funny
I
though.
like spore zombies are cool. It's very
Yeah.
Last
Yeah.
of Us.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm sorry, Shar.
Nice.
Join us.
Unrelated. I started
fine.
watching this show it's a show that came out in 1970, and it's set in the far future of the 80s, and it's called UFO, and none of the actors can really agree on how to pronounce UFO. There's one guy who says UFO. Most people say UFO, and a couple people say UFO, and it's very, very 70s and very, very fun. It's weird because it's so cheesy, unironically, unself-awaredly, but it's also it is legitimately being very, very serious. Like there's one episode where so the main character, he's like the head of this organization that like secretly fights off UFOs from Earth, and his son gets hit by a car and he's in the hospital, and they're like, we need these experimental antibiotics from America, and he's like, oh okay, I'll handle it, and he gets like a secret military jet to like get the drugs in the air, and then a UFO event occurs and they have to like divert the jet to like respond to this issue, and so he does, and his son ends up dying, and that's like the episode. I'm like, holy crap, like that's really heavy, like conceptually. So
dark.
it's a weird show, but I'm really digging it.
What is it called
scratching
again?
the same itch. It's called UFO.
Okay. I just
That's all
love
it's called.
these old school sci-fi that chooses years that we've
Yes.
passed. I just love it. I just love that concept.
It's because it's from the 70s, set in the 80s, so like they took the most 70s things and just ramped them up. Like there's a moon base staffed by women who all have purple hair, and they never say anything about why they have purple hair. And there's like a secret like submarine that can launch fighters, and the submarine, all the staff on that just wear fishnet tops. Like it's just like it's so good. It's so 70s.
And I've been thinking about like, there's like a lot of like ugly ass concept futuristic cars these days.
Yeah,
not
there's a
just
lot of
these
those in
days.
this show.
So I'm wondering, are the
Was it
designs that
Cybertruck?
you see on the concept cars today, does it look like that because they are inspired by old sci-fi shit?
Definitely, possibly. I mean, there's definitely companies working on things because they were inspired for them as kids. Like, like a number of people trying to make like a tricorder from Star Trek or a communicator badge or something like that. Those companies do exist. So yeah, I bet some of these cars are inspired by like anime and whatever the creators just find.
I don't think
like,
they look
they're not
good.
practical.
I'm not sure.
I haven't seen a modern one that I like. I've definitely seen like one-off cars that look super cool, but they're not practical.
Like even like the Transformers 1986 movie, like the opening narration is like, it is the year 2005. No man, like where's my fucking transforming cars? We're in 2023.
Have you heard that Flight of the Conchords song? Like it came out like in 2005 or whatever. It's like the distant future, the year 2000. It's just the whole song. It's like that's the whole song is just about that.
I need to look that one up now.
It's a good one, classic. The other thing I watched is I watched all 3 seasons of a show I watched as a kid. In 1996, there was an animated Jumanji show, and I rewatched all of it. Because like it's not like a good show in the sense that like it's a fine show, but like the plots and like the way they solve problems, they're very much for a younger audience. But it is still fun to watch because of how much like Jumanji lore it builds. Like if you've seen the movie, like Van Pelt's the big game hunter, and so like every episode of the show is them as the 2 children from the movie getting sucked into the game to help the Robin Williams character who's trapped there. They're like, we're gonna help him get out of Jumanji one day, and so they're just running around the world of Jumanji every episode.
Wait, this
so,
was
like, in one
before or
episode-
after the...
I believe it's that's a good point. When did the movie come out? I assume it was
1995.
after the movie.
movie was...
Okay, yeah, the show came out in 96.
Ah, okay.
So right after. So like in one episode, they kill the big game hunter. They push him like down like in like a bottomless pit, and then one of them starts turning into the hunter, because like Jumanji has to have one Van Pelt at all times. Like it's very, it's got all this weird like rules and lore to it that make the show really fun to watch as an adult. But so that was fun. Tim Curry shows up a lot as like as a traitor, and the Robin Williams character is voiced by the guy who would later go on to do Patrick Star in SpongeBob.
Oh wow!
I've always been wondering, Jumanji is a book. It's a children's book.
It was initially a book.
I thought it was a board game. Honestly,
I don't think there's much to the book. I think it's like, it's a kid's book. It's mostly the pictures and kind of like a bit of like the animals are scary, and a lot of the plot comes from the movie.
Apparently, Zathura is a sequel.
Yes, the sci-fi. I mean, I don't know if it's a sequel. It's basically the same story, just with a science fiction board game instead of a...
If you go to the wiki for Jumanji franchise, Zathura is a sequel. And I'm like...
As a movie or as a book?
As a series? Because the book was also by the same guy who made the Jumanji children's book, and it's a spin-off. Okay. I guess it's in the same world, I guess.
Is it the same world? Oh, interesting. That was, like Kristen Stewart's breakout role, I think. Was in Zathura.
Is it that movie?
There is Kristen Stewart, and that's
maybe
Dax Shepard.
It's weird because when I think of her breakout role, I think of her in that one random movie that was based off of like a book we had to read in high school. Is it
about shiny vampires?
The Giver.
No, this was before that.
There's no way any high school be reading that book.
No. It was, I forget what it's called. It was this high school. It was a book that we were writing in high school because it was more like casual as opposed to like more classic fiction. So it's to kind of get like teens reading who hated reading. But it had to do with basically sexual assault that a young girl was keeping secret about.
I forgot that she was the daughter in the panic room.
The panic room? I never saw that.
I'm not sure about that.
Catch that kid.
The panic room was the Jodie Foster one. They had a panic room and
probably Speak. My relationship to Panic Room is one of the first ever Mad magazines I bought was a issue making fun of the Panic Room. So I have a lot of like Panic Room stuff in my head, but I've never actually seen the movie.
That's funny.
Is it Into the Wild you're thinking of, Sarah?
No, it's something like Speak,
is it Speak?
Or something. Something like
I see Speak.
Like that.
After a blurred trauma over the summer, Melinda enters high school.
That's it. Yep, that's the one. Mute. The reason we all read in high school too, and I realized it even as a kid, because I was a pretty avid reader, and I realized as like a freshman in high school, I was like, oh, they're making us also read this because it is one of the most in-your-faces example of symbolism that I've ever read.
It's not so subtle.
It is not subtle at all. Trees. There's a lot of trees. It's a lot of...
Zahn is in it.
Huh?
I like Steve Zahn is in it. I like Steve Zahn.
Yeah. I remember the movie's pretty faithful to the book, but like I mean, we watched it because, of course, it's like, hey, reward for finishing the book. We're gonna watch the movie now, and that's why, like, when Twilight came out, I remember I was like, is that the Speak actress? Because in Speak, she acts very much like she does in Twilight, just blank face and barely talking the entire movie, which is exactly what she should be in that movie. She's traumatized, but it was just so funny because I remember when I first saw Twilight, I was like, did Kristen Stewart not realize that she wasn't in Speak anymore?
Oh, they're making a Madam Web movie show? What is this?
Yeah,
yes,
it's a movie.
They are.
The trailer just came out.
It's a movie.
The trailer is...
Why does she look so young?
Weird.
Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
Emma Roberts.
I guess it's a different type of Madam Web adaptation.
I don't know much about it. I just heard it's coming out and people are making fun of the Spider-Man in it.
Yeah, that's
Madam Web
that's kind of a deep cut to be like the main character in a thing.
Madam Web is the one I'm thinking of, right? Like that interdimensional, like god of the spider power people type of thing, right?
I
don't know if she's a god, but she does have like a web time machine, basically.
Yeah, and the one that I know is she's old.
Yes, the classic one I think of is she looks like it's like the same character from the Deadpool movies, basically. The what's her name? Frank, the white-haired old lady who's blind.
Oh yeah.
It's basically the same actress in my head. Like that actress could be cast as Madam Web.
Dakota Johnson is Madam Web. Oh, right.
There's multiple Madam Webs, I'm sure. As many Madam Web says spider people, for all I know.
I've heard Loki 2 is quite good. Did any of y'all watch?
I watched all of it. I did like it a lot.
I haven't seen it yet. We just haven't had an opportunity, but
the plot's okay, but the writing, like the actual dialogue is really cool, I think.
Good to know.
Did y'all watch the Ahsoka? Finished it?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's leading up to another show. They leave it on a cliffhanger. It's not, I would say, doesn't necessarily end on a, well, that's all, folks. Definitely more coming.
And Invincible is running right now, right?
Yes, I'm current.
Yeah, I need to watch that one. I'm going to be watching the gay pirate rom-com like this weekend too. So
Our flag means death.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I did a Gentleman Druid, because I was watching a lot of that. I'm like, Gentleman Pirate, that could be kind of fun. Or sorry, Gentleman Druid, because of Gentleman Pirate.
Got it. I was going to say, if you want to be a pirate, there is a class for that.
So what else did you play or watch for?
I bought one of the DLCs for Vampire Survivors, so I played a bunch of that. Which, I mean, Vampire Survivors is barely plain. Right? Yeah. The game kind of plays itself in a lot of ways. Yeah. But it's fun, it's cool, it's good. That's pretty much it. I mean, we already talked about the two things I watched. There wasn't really anything major. I watched, I'm halfway through a movie right now that's super weird called Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls.
It's a long title.
It's a very long title. I think... It stars this guy named Andrew Bowser, who I think is maybe a YouTuber? I don't know. It's like a character comedy making fun of like the occult, I guess. I don't know, it's weird. I'm kind of liking it. The effects are good. Oh, that's what I watched. I watched all of a show called Scavenger's Reign, which is an animated show about like these people above an alien planet in like some sort of colony ship, and most of the crew is in stasis, and the ship starts to crash. So like they eject, and then the first episode is them like calling the ship to deliberately crash into the planet so that they can like wake people up and work on stuff. The plot of the show is very, very slow. Like in one episode, not much happens because so much of the screen time is kind of just dedicated to like art demos of like we imagined this alien doing this weird thing, and like it's really pretty and cool to watch, but like it doesn't matter also. So I liked the show. It has very high reviews like on IMDb, and I don't know why. Like I mean, I did like it, but I don't know why other people like it. Like I wouldn't have thought other people would like it. And so I'm surprised. So it's fine. It's good. I don't know if it's setting up for a season 2 or not. It's hard to really tell the way it ends. I feel like it probably will, because that's what things do. I didn't like it enough that I probably wouldn't watch a season 2 if they make one. But I liked season 1 okay.
A friend of mine recommended something called Foundation. It's a sci-fi series. Did anybody watch it?
I know of it. Because it's based off the Isaac Asimov books, right? Just like his
I believe so, yeah.
Canon of science fiction books. Yeah, I can't remember if I know one person who watched it, and I don't remember if they said they liked it or not. I've been meaning to watch Silo, because I read that series about like people who live in a bunker. I don't know if the show is good or not. Let me know if you like Foundation though, because
I'll see if I get to it.
Yeah. Season 2 of Spy Family's been going along pretty okay.
Yes, I need to watch that.
I'm behind on it though.
I'm behind on it too.
I started watching a recent but not current, I don't think current, show called A Black Lady Sketch Show, which is pretty good. It's not the funniest sketch I've ever seen, but they have these like there's not like a narrative to it, but like you know like callbacks for like we'll see a sketch and then we'll see those same people later on. Like they'll do that for the whole season. So like you'll really kind of just like in improv we have like vertical heightening and horizontal heightening. Like vertical heightening is like do the same thing but do it bigger or do it crazier. And that's what most sketch comedy is. And this show does a lot of like horizontal heightening, where it's like, let's explore the world where that took place, which I'm really enjoying because I don't really ever see it much in sketch comedy.
I tried watching Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix. Know that one? It's on.
The name is super familiar.
It's on Netflix. Showrunner is Eddie Shankar, and it's a Ubisoft one. Sort of inspired by Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, but Rayman makes an appearance and all that.
Okay, I didn't watch this.
So it's on Netflix. Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix.
Should I watch it?
I stopped at episode 1 or 2. I can't remember. It's very like over the top, crazy, silly. I think some people might like it. You might like it, but I feel like it's trying too hard. Like
sure, yeah.
Like I feel like they looked at all the things that people like these days, all the crazy over the top shit, and then put it all in one. So just feels like that to me.
Okay, that makes sense. There's the new Scott Pilgrim show I haven't had a chance to watch yet. I'm really curious if that's going to be good or not.
Is that out?
I think it came out, like the first couple episodes or something.
Wait, it's a TV show? I thought they're just making
they're making a live action, TV show of it on Netflix.
I thought they're doing a sequel to the movie.
Not live action, sorry. Animated, that's what I meant to say.
Yes, yeah.
But with the same people from the movie voicing it, or what?
For most part, yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, for the most part it is. They did a whole thing about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, there was a whole thing
Michael
about
Cera
it.
is in it. Scott Pilgrim takes off. Wow.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be
back. Brie Larson.
Yep.
Wow.
It's supposed to be like an animated version of the original movie.
Oh, so it's not like a sequel or anything.
Oh, so it's just retelling, but in more detail. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I don't know much else about it.
That makes me more optimistic about it being good. That it's not trying to do like new stuff. Because we all like the source material. That's it for me.
We can do a couple of quick news thing. I think we can wrap up.
Okay.
Not much in terms of news, but the Game Awards is coming up, as it is.
The Game Awards is coming up.
So of course, like every year, there's a couple of controversies with it.
Yeah.
The first one is a lot of people are pissed off that Hogwarts Legacy has been snubbed. It wasn't nominated for any category.
I know!
So
it wasn't even a fucking good game.
There are two schools of thought with this. One is, it's not a good game.
Yeah.
And the second one is, oh, they just want to avoid being political or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. Guys, it wasn't that good of a game.
I mean, if you liked it, it is obviously like made for Harry Potter fans, and there are a lot of Harry Potter fans. You got what you wanted, right? So I don't know.
It definitely sold really well.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I feel like it was maybe the biggest game of this year.
Especially,
I feel like in terms of like number of copies sold, like anecdotally, unscientifically, I feel like more of my friends who like aren't gamers are playing this than like Baldur's Gate or Elden Ring or something.
That could be fair. I think for me, what's very telling is that there was an explosion about this game with a lot of streamers and a lot of YouTubers and a lot of controversy, and then it felt like after like a month or two, it was just out of the zeitgeist. That's what it felt like for me.
In the first 2 weeks, it sold 12 million copies. Mm-hmm. That's insane. How long is
the game?
How long? Like how long ago?
How long to beat?
Oh, how long to beat?
No, sorry. How long to beat Hogwarts?
I want to say 40, 50 hours, probably.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it's like a full game. This says 26 and a half hours to complete the main story. However, 76 and a half are needed for the completionist run. Okay, so yeah, about 40 to 50 probably. 12
million copies, and as of May, 15 million copies totally globally, grossing $1 billion. So you might be right. That is, it is one of the biggest launches this year. And then people just forgot about it because it came out really early. And it's a single player. I mean,
I don't know. Nothing about it excited me really. Like as a video game, it seemed pretty basic, right? Like least common denominator-y.
That's the thing is like, and I wasn't gonna. Some people really early on were like, "Oh, they just stole Dark Souls UI," and I was like, "Guys, no, they didn't. Like that's just basic video games." Yeah, that was a whole thing. But like,
oh my god,
no,
Dark Souls
like,
fans are like they're reaching those like Marvel movie fans where oh my god, this movie is widescreen. They're stealing Marvel. Fuck you.
Have you seen anything else in your life? Yeah, I know.
The Marvel
but,
movies
so
are not that good.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just say that right now.
I watch a lot of them.
I still watch them. They're just not that. The Spider-Verse movies are way better.
Fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
They're not really pushing the envelope.
Not really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, with this game, from what I understand, it was just kind of boring. Like that's what I heard. Like people played it and it didn't really leave much of an impression.
And you have to make up your mind on, are awards required to validate something, or are awards people just paying to? You can't have it both ways. It's either one.
Yeah. Is
it really important, or is it one like it's just whatever, man. The next one, the Game Awards like controversy is, I think, more important. Mm-hmm. It's about Dave the Diver.
I heard about this.
Yes. This is more interesting.
Yeah, to me too.
Yeah, agreed.
Because we've discussed this on the podcast.
Yeah, many times. So
the same issue with other games.
For those not in the know, Dave the Diver is one of the more not Hogwarts Legacy 15 million copies level, I don't think, but it is one of the more like well loved, critically acclaimed, also quite popular games that come out this year. I'm pretty sure you play Dave, who is a diver, and there's like quite a lot of like mechanics in it. You run a sushi restaurant. You can go into the deep sea and like catch fish and stuff. So, by all accounts, I've heard it's a really good game, and I would like to get it soon, maybe in the next Steam sale or something. And I think it's also on the Switch now already, and consoles too. It's 2D, pixel art, very pretty. It looks like an indie game. Okay, it has the indie quality aesthetics to it. But the developer, and they were not even just funded. They are a subsidiary. They're not funded or
right.
Or not a bigger company published it. They are
fully owned.
They're literally owned by a bigger company, by Nexon, who is, I'm pretty sure, the biggest Korean game publisher. Their 2021 and 2022 revenues were at $2+ billion. I don't think it's indie, because Dave the Diver is under the indie category in the Game Awards.
Yep, it sure is.
Now, I think we can all agree that the word indie has lost all its original meaning, right?
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
I don't know how to box it in. It's not purely a budget thing. It's not a number of people working on it thing. I don't know what it is.
But previously, it meant was no publisher. You self-publish it. You make the game, you self-publish it.
I see.
But now it's no longer that, right? Now, at one point, it became not so weird to say anymore that Digital Devolver is an indie games publisher.
Yeah.
At one point, that sentence was weird, and now it's not anymore.
Yes.
Because it literally meant independent of a publisher. But now there are companies that specializes in publishing indie games, which makes no sense if you said it in like 2005.
Sure.
But we're not in 2005 anymore. So the word has evolved. But the problem is, I don't think there's a consensus to what the word should mean. I personally think it should mean size and budget, but then you have to draw a line. But how are you going to do that?
Right.
But I can tell you right now, I don't think, factually speaking, I don't think Dave the Diver should be considered indie.
Yeah.
I don't think any indie company
One of these things,
makes
it's not
$2
like
billion.
the other. I mean, that's the thing, too, is that I think what also just doesn't help either is like, yes, I know it's hard to draw, a line, but also like when you have one game like on a list of indie, up for indie awards or something that just is different from the others in terms of like its publishing and what was backing it and stuff like that. Come on.
I think they should actually have all these awards show, not just DGA, joystick, whatever. They should have a category specifically for independent of publisher.
Right.
Even
no publishing dollars.
Even independent of Devolver Digital, who is known for like no publisher, self-publish only.
Yeah. Right.
I think they should have one of that and nothing else. Dave the Diver should be in like platformer or action adventure or whatever. No more like indie. And I think me and Fo has talked about this quite a lot, and we both agree. Indie is not a genre.
Oh, I know, but it's become a genre.
Really, yeah.
I mean, so you know what the perfect example is? And I'm going to rag on a game that I love dearly. Life is Strange. Life is Strange had publishing dollars behind
Square
it.
Enix, wasn't
in
it?
fact,
Like
I
the
think
first
the
two
company...
games? Yep.
Yes. In fact, I think Square Enix bought them after the first game. So, like,
yes, correct.
they are
it's just
certainly...
that the third game was not worked on by the original developers. Technically, Life is Strange is now owned by Square Enix.
Yes. So, like, the first game, but that's the thing is, like, so I know after the first game, it's definitely not indie anymore, but the first game, like, had publishing dollars behind it, but it's got an indie feel to it, doesn't it? Like, the alternative music, the storyline, it's about two lesbians, like, it had an indie feel to it, and so indie is not supposed to be a genre, but people, when you say indie, people get a feeling behind it. It's the same as music.
And it's the same
what
as
is indie
movies,
music?
Right.
Yeah,
It should be take all the current categories and then double it. One's for indie, one's for not indie. That's what it should be.
That's what it should be, right? But that's not...
When you say
think
indie,
of
what do you
indie as
mean?
a feeling.
Like independent of publisher or indie feel?
No, independent.
It doesn't really matter.
okay.
I just mean like there should be like indie action, indie platformer, indie story, indie music,
Right.
whatever.
Instead
like,
of
just
putting all the
indie.
different genres.
They're
Yeah.
all
Exactly. Exactly.
Because the whole point is of having a separate indie awards thing is because people like they can't compete against the AAA budgets. It's not fair to blah blah blah.
Also, they kind of can.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah.
In some ways. I mean, I guess I'm not saying we should have them compete, but I mean, all the indie games were better in some ways.
So they can't necessarily... So you're right about that. They can't necessarily... So they should be able to compete in terms of quality, but the problem is, all award shows at the end of the day have, a little bit of some... Yeah, a little contest behind it. So the idea was, get these spotlights onto games that otherwise might not have had a chance to. But yeah, I agree with you. It's become a meaningless... It really is just this feeling. It's not... it's a little quirky. It's a little different. Oh, man, they allowed LGBTQ in it.
Did they do this on purpose? Just to get us talking about TGA?
Damn it.
I wouldn't put it past Jeff Keighley, honestly.
How do we stay relevant? Make a controversy.
God, yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think awards mean anything.
At the end of the day, they really don't.
They really don't. Yeah.
I think it's cool to get excited with the hype. I'm excited for BG3 to sweep some awards.
It's
because
a
I
fun
like the
thing,
game.
but it shouldn't be anything other than that.
Yeah, but and it's also a nice place to maybe get some news. I found get some updates of what's going to come.
And also, because they do trailers and stuff.
Yeah. And
in between all the Monster Energy, Monster Energy plushies and shit or whatever.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, buy and play whatever you like. Just know where your money is going. Yeah. Like, if you buy Hogwarts Legacy brand new, that means your money is going to transphobic organizations. If you play Freddy Five Nights, just understand that the creator hates you if you're gay. So, So, just know where your money is going. Buy or play whatever fuck you want. If you want to play Lost Bunker, play it. Magic Pussy Chapter 2, these are real games, by the way. I am not making this shit up.
Library, Shar.
I'm listing my recommendations.
On this note, Steam is going to add an ability to hide games from your library from your friends. You can have hidden games that only you can see.
Ooh,
funny.
Very useful.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny to me.
That way you can't look at a Steam store page and say, who owns this already?
Right, yeah, I know. I get it. Like, I think it's funny that
yeah.
they have to have that, but I get it. Like, I mean, heck, this is super, super dumb, but I had an issue. Like, part of the reason I just become invisible on anything that has a chat ever is there's always like one random friend that has ruined it, where they like either want my time or whatever. And with Steam, it became really bad because there was a time I was friends with these people that like wanted to buy games for each other and wanted to like encourage everyone to play certain games, and I would literally get yelled at by a friend of like, why are you playing that game and not the game that I got you? And it's like, stop looking at what I'm doing. What the fuck? So I get it, but it is funny.
Yeah. I feel like we tend to... I think it's just because we play a lot of indie stuff, like actual indie stuff, and not just indie feeling stuff. Whenever this topic comes up, we do get like pretty hyped, like pretty passionate, I guess. I feel like.
Well, it's just I guess it's just because
it's like an annual thing too, almost. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess I know for me it's especially just grating because the big AAA companies are becoming more and more a monopoly. And so it just feels especially frustrating because they're kind of using that monopoly to like they're kind of trying to hide that monopoly to like get these indie
basically
things.
They're just creating subsidiaries and like
and it just pisses me off.
And I hate that my money is going into all these companies, but like I kind of still want to play the game, so I'm not sure how to.
I know. There's
I do my.
You kind of have to stop playing altogether.
Like the very, very, like that very one of my favorite shows of all time, The Good Place, says like it's quite impossible to have like consumerisms that is like 100% morally ethical anymore. I feel like so.
Oh, I mean, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism
unless you want to buy
thing.
Just local farmers' food, but like there's no local farmer game shop, so
right. You have to draw the lines where you can, and I know a big thing that's been a conversation with my wife who streams is for her it just became more of a I'm not going to stream the game. Maybe I'll buy it and play it myself, but I'm not going to stream it. Well, no.
Sure.
If you have an audience, no. It does make some sense. If you have an audience with it, it's more of like a it's not just about the consumer dollars, but also about who are you spreading it to others to encourage them to buy. That's where it comes from.
I guess I disagree with the premise that streaming it encourages people to buy it. I'm not saying it doesn't have that effect sometimes, but I do think it's possible to like talk about something without promoting it. Does that make sense?
Well, yes. But also look at, I do think some companies though try to give like advanced copies to streamers for the express purpose of trying to hype it up.
Sure.
We've seen that. So does it actually work out? I don't see the numbers, but like and also to be fair, this kind of has to also do with an ethical point of like, the kind of, if you're a streamer, you're trying to build a certain kind of community, and what kind of community are you showing by what you play? So there's also that aspect too.
Like again, it was a big talking point when the game came out. Like, should streamers stream it? Basically, the ones that's not paid by whoever that
Right, exactly.
Which game are we talking about now? I've lost track.
Hogwarts. I thought. Are we not talking about that one?
Is it still Hogwarts?
Yeah, Hogwarts.
I think so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but just even like I know it became a big deal with Blizzard games. When Blizzard kind of did all that stuff, I mean, a lot of people left. No, the sexual assault one.
Right.
And there,
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying. I just don't like. I don't think like. I'm gonna have the moral high ground. I will continue to play this game. I just won't stream it. I feel like the altitude difference is like almost unmeasurable.
No. So let me be clear. She's not playing the games anyway. Like she's not playing in her private time. But it's more of like there's a point of view of like I'm not going to sit in your bedroom and see what you're playing in privacy, but but like that's different from what I see you doing publicly, cuz I can't, I only can take your word. So it's more of like, again, I think it's more of like if you're already putting your face out there and building a community and have some kind of pull with community, it's more about that and less like, I think people ethically should be doing what's the right moral thing. but I also am not going to be watching. I'm not Jiminy Cricket going to be watching their shoulder. So it's more of like that point of view. Again, like if someone announced and said like, I'm not going to stream this game, I'm just going to play it privately, that'd be stupid.
For 4, are you kind of just questioning the impact of streamers overall having being the impact of streamers on like game sales?
No, I'm questioning
the moral,
the
moral high ground of not streaming, but still playing, buying and playing.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, for me, when it comes to any of this stuff, is like, and this happens every time there's a freaking like request of a what's it called? Not a block, boycott. Whenever there's a boycott. And invariably, someone will go, well, what about my specific reason why I still need to buy this thing? And it's like, okay, you don't get like a gold star for that. But I'm also like not going to sit in your bedroom and watch what you're doing every second of every day. So it's just more of that kind of thing.
I do think streamers do a very good job at selling games. To answer Char's point. I just also think that it's like if a slightly different thing, like let's say like like the late night show with like Jon Stewart or whatever it's called.
One of those.
Yeah, one of them has
a million of them, man.
The late night talk show with John Corden has.
I mean, it sounds like a real thing.
If they have an author on who sucks, I don't think they're inherently promoting this author and getting people to go buy in his book. I mean, 100% of the time, if they have someone on, it's to promote their book. But I believe you could like give someone this platform in a way that because you control the narrative of them being on your show. So you can like, they're on your platform. You're not giving them a platform to spout their rhetoric that is bad per se. Like you can have bad people onto your thing and not be like promoting them.
I guess
I know
like,
some
can
people
challenge them when they're on the show.
Don't agree with that.
Yes,
exactly. You can challenge them. You can recontextualize them, and it can be productive. But I know some people who are very uncompromising. They're like, you should just not engage with bad people. It's like, well, then I don't know. You kind of lead by example, and you can't just like not engage with bad things. You gotta be able to do it
depends with the show, I guess. Like
sure.
there are.
I mean, there's shows that do both. There's definitely shows that do both.
Yeah, because like there are certain shows where I definitely would not trust them to have like that kind of integrity. It's like, oh no, if they're having that person on, like I don't think they're gonna be hitting them hardballs, that kind of a thing. It's like the difference between, I guess, like Jon Stewart versus Oprah. Like, one is more likely to maybe, sit and kind of do more of a hardball, like a real talk back and forth, and the other really is just like, hey, they wrote this book, isn't this interesting? So it just kind of depends. But I also don't quite see streamers in the same, like streamers with a game, I'm not sure if I see them in quite the same way as certain talk shows, and maybe that just depends on the person. And also, to be fair, I think the hard part too is that, to me, the streamer, that's not the greatest comparison with a streamer, because that would be more like if the streamer was playing the game and then had the game developer on the show on their stream.
Yeah, I guess.
But so that's the hard part.
Because I don't watch any streamers. I feel like there are critical streamers. Maybe those don't exist, but that's kind of what I was picturing.
They're critical of the
more of a
game.
critique. Exactly.
But a critique of the game, not as much of like the issues behind the game. I guess if that makes sense. Like, they critique like the issues within the game. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah. But the like moral, ethical issues behind the game, that's not like Hogwarts, for instance. I don't think that's.
I feel like
does that make sense? Because it's different.
Yeah, to me. I don't. But I mean, I've definitely seen that though. For like, again, I don't watch a lot of streamers, but I know there were streamers doing that for games like that Dragon Cancer.
So.
Wait, what?
About the
Talking
bigger
about the context
point.
for it.
Dragon Cancer. That sounds so familiar. What was it again?
It was about the dad who lost his son to cancer, and he made a video game about that sort of thing. So people talking about the context and yeah,
it is an indie game. Yeah,
true
so that
indie game.
That's to me still within the context of the game. I'm talking about like, hey, Harry Potter Legacy was made by.
Disagree.
Oh, okay.
Because the controversy, like this guy's like, I don't know. Whether or not I agree, people were like, it's kind of weird that he's like capitalizing off the death of his son, and people were talking about that.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I guess to me, and that's fair. I guess to me, I find that different than like, hey, we're gonna play WoW and talk about how Blizzard totally botched that sexual assault case. Like that's just different things to me. Like I don't know a lot of streamers are going to be doing that. But with that game, like I could see that kind of conversation. I think probably because it's an indie game, it's a little bit different. But I just I guess like that's kind of, I don't know. To me, that's slightly different. But I guess to me, it's more of a difference of scale.
And I think that matters.
That Dragon Cancer is. Yeah, that Dragon Cancer, is definitely, it was a small team, as an indie team, that made that. So there's, I think, some conversation to be had there. But like with the other issues we're talking about, it's more of, hey, this company's done some pretty terrible things that's not related to the game they've created. So that's more to me at the position of scale. But agree to disagree. At the end of the day. I got nothing else.
Yeah, I guess we just kind of went off there.
I know.
It's fucking it's all Jeff Keighley's fault. I blame Jeff Keighley at the end of the day.
Yeah, I do too. Listen, lively discussion. It's all right.
And talking about boycotts, I know we're kind of past time. Just a little thing. Talking about boycotts, because of the Israel-Palestine thing. In Malaysia, people are boycotting like Starbucks and McDonald's, and it's working. Like it's.
Oh, is it working?
Yeah, they're getting hit hard.
That's great.
Like, damn.
Yeah, I don't know if it's working in the United States at all, but yeah, I've that's good to hear.
From the United States, I read a couple articles for like certain like branches of stuff, like getting
Oh, are they? Okay. Hey, that's
great.
I'm
not so sure if I'm remembering correctly, but like
I just don't get a lot of that stuff anyway. I think we did get McDonald's and I completely forgot. But, like, we don't get that much food from either of those places. Although they're not the only ones that are on the boycott list. So.
Yeah, so. I
good.
think we can wrap up here.
Yay, politics? I was trying to say political and then it came in politics at the same time.
I thought you wanted to say pull out or something. I don't know why. It's like, what?
Pull the plug.
Okay. Do the thing.
Yeah. This is Sarahscopic, Sarahscopic. I'm somehow still on Twitter, but I'm also on Threads, so you can say hi to me there. I just mostly talk about D&D stuff these days. So.
Talking about like
come say hi.
X or Twitter, I guess. Apple and a couple of big companies are pulling IBM pulling out ads because of his because of him being okay with
and news of today.
Where can people find your skits?
I'm on YouTube. I just filmed a sketch last weekend, but we'll see if I edit it before the end of 2023. It'll happen eventually, for sure, but not anyway. And then that'll be on YouTube.
And I'm Pupunoob. This has been episode 210 of the Play on Ultra podcast. We will see you again next year, probably. Bye-bye.
Probably. Bye.